Well, hello everyone. Welcome to my channel. This is DCS World. I'm in the open beta, the latest version of the open beta. I'm doing a instructional video on aerial refueling in the F-18. And I think for this particular mission, the F-18, it can really be applied to other aircraft within DCS that's relevant. I've gotten a lot of feedback as I've been browsing forums and on Facebook about the challenges around the aerial refueling and being able to master it. And so I just wanted to walk through it with you guys. And this represents the first of a handful of instructional videos that I'm going to be creating around DCS, specifically the F-18. And I hope you enjoy it. So here we go. All right. So we're obviously lined up behind the tanker. This is a pretty straightforward situation. I'm going to get some airspeed here. Tanker's at about 316 knots, so I'm going to come in at about 325, 330. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to get them on the comms and set up an intent to rejoin and pair up and refuel. I'm already on the frequency. Okay, here we go. So I'm coming in hot. I'm going to slow her down. The one thing that, if you haven't noticed this already, specifically with the F-18, is that with very, very minimal input, you can accelerate and decelerate pretty quickly, much more than you'd think. I think it's the initial response of all new pilots to kind of just really ram the throttle forward and back, especially when you're doing the carrier approaches. You tend to move the throttle a lot more. But you know, with things like this, and you're trying to, especially like when you're doing a close, this is very like this is very much a very close formation flight. Excuse me. The challenge isn't necessarily the basket. It's maintaining that exact position that you need to be in, so that the basket will stay connected and you still take on the fuel. So the first thing we're going to do is switch over to our fuel panel on the right DDI. Doesn't matter which one, but and then we're going to let them know we're ready for pre-contact, which is the boom coming out, the basket. We're going to extend our probe. Probe's out. Now, very, 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 very small corrections. I mean, if you weren't feeling them with your fingers, if you were just looking at my hands, you'd basically see nothing happening. That's how subtle it is. And when you start to get into an oscillation situation where you're moving and you're not able to, it's a very hard thing. In fact, I think it's actually impossible to recover from that. Like when you get into a situation like this, when you're up and down, and you're chasing the basket, reset, slow her down, maintain your airspeed so that you're not getting too far behind the basket, but just reset, and again, with very small corrections, make your approach back in. So here I go. Now I'm going to be quiet for a second as I connect.
Contact. You're taking fuel.
So I already came off the basket. Came in a little too close, so I'm going to reset. It's actually good that this is happening for me. You can see, so I'm going to reset. Not a big deal. And I'm going to move in again. I'm going to stabilize. Move in again. And whoop. There's the oscillations that we're talking about. So we're just going to hold it, let it reset, let it recover, and then Now when you're set, now bring in the power. A little bit of power. Line it up. A little bit of power. Okay, now easy on the power. And hold your position. And you're looking for about 12,000. I think you're going to get about 12,000 gallons of fuel. Oh. And you know, and I'm watching it. I'm basically watching the engine, or the top of the probe, where the fuel line is coming out, and I'm just ever so slightly giving a little power. I start to get behind a little bit. I'll you know, give it a little jolt, and then right back to my neutral position again. It takes a lot of finesse to get this right. I mean, and you know, everybody's stick is different. You're gonna have a little bit of everybody's gonna have a little bit of a different configuration, so you just gotta find what works for you. And I'm already, you know, you can see I'm trying to get her stabilized again. And that's it. You just got to keep it very steady. You're going to bring the probe back in. And, you know, it takes a lot of concentration. Very, very subtle movements on the throttle. And again, as your throttle maybe is certainly going to be configured a little differently than mine, you got to find that zone. And actually, when you're setting up, it's a good time to really understand where, you know, for your throttle, find that sweet spot that's going to give you a little boost and a little bit of you know, a little bit of power to get you in this position, and then you know, and then stabilize. Like if I wanted to come in a little closer, give it a little boost, and I pull it out, a little bit of boost, a little bit of, you know, forward power, and I come out, and you can see I'm getting a little bit of, but super subtle movement, and I'm able to get into a very specific position with just a very, very small amount of power. And yeah, it is basically like very, very close formation flying, especially with the S3. But you know, that's it. I mean, it's It's an area that's been causing a lot of people frustration, as I read on the forums. But hopefully these tips have helped you a little bit. And really the biggest thing with this is to just get a lot of practice, and eventually you'll get it. You'll get it. First step is getting the basket. The basket worked out. Being able to connect and staying connected, it's a whole nother animal. So, alright guys, well, I hope you're doing great. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you in the next video.